Hello friend, today I am going to let you know how to configure an ELB. ELB is elastic block storage. For configuring an ELB in the production or in the live environment, we need an AMI. We are using AMI for configuring the ELB. Okay, so first I need to create an AMI from an instance. So I'm going to launch an instance. By using this instance, I will create an AMI. Add storage, next security groups. I am going to select the security group from my existing security groups. I have selected Wizard 6 because in this security groups we have already opened two ports, port 80 and port 22. Port 80 is used for the Apache application. Port 80 is used for the HTTP listening ports, and port 20 we have opened port 20 as inbound port because I want to log in on that instances. So review and launch, acknowledge. I'm using my existing key pair, so I am assuming that you have already done the EC2 session through which we have created and launched an EC2 instance. So let's wait till the instance is coming up. Status is pending and the status check is initializing. So still we need to wait till the instance status will shows as running and the status check will show as 2x2 checks. Now the instance status is running. So let's connect. Let's log in the instance. Okay. Let's log in the instance. Sudo su hyphen, make the sudo. Okay, and now I want to install httpd. Yum install httpd. After that I want to start the http. So systemctl start httpd. Systemctl start httpd. Okay. Now systemctl enable httpd to make it start permanently at the time of instance coming up. Now we have installed httpd, start the httpd service, or make it permanently started at the time of system initialization, system booting. Okay, we have done three parts. So what is the requirement of this one? Okay, the requirement of this one, if config, then grab inet. Okay, after that I want to grab the first line, this line, and from this line I want to grab the second column. So head hyphen n1, I have get the first line. I want to get the private IP. This is the private IP of the instance. So for this awk print $2. So this line gives us the private IP. So why we need the private IP? I'm going to save it in var www.html index.html file. So I'm going to save this. So what the benefit of this? When we hit on the Apache IP, I have configured the HTTPD. I have installed the Apache. When we will hit on a public IP of the Apache, then we will call this index.html file, and in this index.html file I have put down the private IP. Let's see. I have copied this. Okay. And then I have hit this public IP. This public IP, go to the instance and call the httpd Apache server, and from this Apache server I have put the public IP in where www.html index.html. Okay, that's the public IP 126 and 172. That's the public IP. This is the public IP. This is the private IP. It called the private IP of the instances. So I am going to create, and now I am going to create an AMI image, create image. So image name is Apache web server. Image description same as image description. Here is the option of reboot or no reboot. When we check the no reboot, it means it will never reboot the server at the time when it will create the image, but it will slow down over instance response, instance performance. So I'm going to unselect it because I have not worry about to stop and start the instance because it's our demo classes or test servers. So create image. So it will take some time to creating the image. So let's wait. Now the AMI is available. Okay. So I am going to terminate this instance that is used for creating the AMI. Okay, I'm going to terminate this instance. So it will terminate after some time, and I will use this AMI to create or to launch new instances, and after that instance we will use in ELB. So launch an instance by using this AMI. So I am using John A for creating first instance. Okay, and I am going in advanced details. This is known as bootstrapping part. In bootstrapping parts, I am going to put this line because I want to overwrite this index.html file is also available in the AMI, in our AMI, but I want to overwrite this file by the public IP of newly creating instances. The new there will be a new instance created, and I will need to put that instance private IP into index.html. That will be called by ELB. We are going to do it by because I need to test the ELB. ELB is working or not. Okay, so above on we need to put this one. So this is known as bootstrapping part. Apart from OS, if we want to if we need to install something extra thing, then we will put the things into this storage and tags, security groups. I am going to use my existing security groups because I need port 20 should be open because ELB work on port 80 to listening the ports, and if we need port 22 for SSH, then we should open it. Review and launch. Sorry, we have not selected any group. Now I have selected my existing security groups. Now review and then launch, and I am going to use my existing key pair. Okay, so I am going to give a name as Apache Fun Server 1. Okay, let's come again on AMI. Then I'm going to launch another instance. Okay. In first instance we have selected John A. Now I'm going to select John B because I need high availability. So ELB provide the option of high availability. So for getting the high availability, we should need that my instances should be created, should be launched in 2 different zones. Okay, so let's come in the advanced detail. Now I am going to put this here. Now add storage, add tags, security groups. Now I am going to select the same security groups because it has open port 80 as an inbound board and port 22 as an inbound board also, and then launch, and selected the existing key pair. Okay, let's take a look of security groups. This is my security groups. I'm going to click, and okay, in this security groups I have selected the security groups. In this security groups we should have port 80 should be open and port 22 should be open. For opening a port we should click on, as like here we should select the HTTP, and in custom I have selected 000. It means we can accept the request on port 80 for Apache server from any IP. Okay, same thing. I have selected it I have selected that we will accept the request that is coming from any IP on our server, but in production server we would give our custom IP here, our office public IP, office network range. We should give our office public range here. Okay, let's come again in the instances. Now instances is coming up. Let's name as Apache-server 2. Okay, now I am going to set up ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. ELB is of two parts, load balancer and target groups. When we configure the load balancer, it automatically forward it us to target groups. Let's create. So we have two type of ELB. One is a application load balancer, another one is a classic load balancer. For Apache web servers, we would prefer application load balancer. So I have selected application load balancer and give a name of Apache-LB, or we can say it's a load balancer. So there are two type of load balancer, interfacing and internal. So if we choose internal, then it use the private IP of the instances to route the traffic to our instances. If we select as internet facing, then it use the public IP of our instances to route the traffic to our instances. Okay, so internet facing means ELB is publicly available. So it uses port 80 for load balancer port, and for high availability. So see, we have launched two instances in two different availability zones. So for getting a high availability, we should choose both of the zones. So in this, we have given the load configuration name, and the scheme is the internet facing. Okay, and also choose both of the zones that are available in Singapore region. So next is security groups. I am going to select an existing security groups. Okay, the same security groups which I have chosen at the time of instance creation. So target group name I am going to give as like tech hertz hyphen target hyphen grp group. Okay, so protocol is HTTP and port it 80, and it will be doing health check on HTTP basis on port 80. So advanced health check, so I'm going to make it 2. So if the number of consecutive health checks successfully required before considering an unhealthy target and to healthy. Suppose if it detect an instance is unhealthy, so to consider it as healthy instance, so it can check 2 times. It checks 2 consecutive health checks to make unhealthy instance to healthy, to do okay, unhealthy threshold. That means the number of consecutive health check failure requires before considering a target unhealthy. So it checked 2 times. It consecutively done the consecutive health check 2 times. If it will not getting a back response on port 80, it seems that the port 80 is not listening. Then it define as the instance is unhealthy. Okay, target registered. So it's the part of our we have said that there are two parts of ELB. So it's the second part, target groups. So in target groups, I'm going to add our two instances that we have created earlier, and the ELB. Now the ELB redirect the traffic on both of the instance. So ELB work on round robin RR. So first it route the traffic it route the first request on instance 1, and then route the second request on instance 2, and then route the third request on instance 1. If we have 3 instances, then the first request goes to instance 1, second request on instance 2, third request on instance 3, and then the fourth request will also go on instance 1, and the fifth request on instance 2, and the sixth request on instance 3, and then the seventh request also will come again on instance 1. So it work on round robin RR. Then review and next and create. So now it takes some time to configure and to make up their policies. After that, the ELB having a DNS name, that's the DNS name. Okay, if we hit this DNS name, okay, so it shows the server not found. Why? Because it takes some time to configure the ELB and to make the configurations reachable. Okay. Let's see. We have a description, listener, monitoring, and tags. In description, we have a DNS name. We have a DNS name through which the ELB is reachable. So in our Route 53 classes, we will see how we can use the DNS to make our domain name reachable to different servers. Okay. In Route 53 classes, we can also see how we can use the ELB to redirect our websites to the different instances to the ELB. So in target group, we can see that that has a targets. In target, we have 2 instances. We have added 2 instances. So the status of the instances is initial. So if it initialized the instances, after that it will do a health check on both of the instances. Okay, and it will route the traffic to instances when it will get the instance as healthy. Now ELB done a health check on both of the instances. It will send a request on port 80 on both of the instances. If it will get 2 consecutive response from the instance, then it will mark as healthy. Okay, now come on the load balancer. Let's come on the DNS part. That's the DNS. DNS is the load balancer DNS. So I'm going to hit the load balancer. First it shows the IP as 27.75, and second I have refreshed it, that's 131. So every time when we refresh the IP, every time when a user hit the ELB elastic load balancer, when a request come on the ELB, then it route the traffic, first request on first instance, second request on second instance. So how we can check that the request come on first request come on first instance, second request come on second request? So let's note down that this is the IP of the private IP. First request comes on 75, the second request come on 31, the third one request comes again on 75, and then the fourth one request come on the 31. So every time ELB route the traffic to another instance. So it work on round robin RR. Okay, let's see, we have 2 instances. So if first request come on this instance, okay, and this instance shows this shows us this private IP. If this first request come on this, let's hit on this. Okay, it's a 31. Okay, and come on second instance and hit on a public IP of second instance. You can see the private IP of this instance. Private IP is 75. Okay, the private IP is 75. So why it shows the private IP? Because in bootstrapping part we have passed this line. This line collect the private IP and save in this path. When we hit the public IP, so it will call index.html file. In index.html file we have put the private IP through this line. This line we have passed it in bootstrapping part in our previous session, this session. So we can see how an ELB route the traffic on different servers. Okay, so this is server 1, private IP. The first request comes on 75. So 75 is the private IP of this instance. So first request come on this instance, and second request should be come on second one instance, and it should show the private IP as 131. Let's see, refresh it. Okay, then it's come on 131. So you can see how an ELB work. So what an ELB can do? So ELB, Elastic Load Balancer, automatically distribute the incoming traffic across multiple instances. Okay, so it achieve high level of fault tolerance for your application by using ELB to automatically route traffic across multiple instances and multiple availability zones. So ELB route the traffic across multiple instances on multiple availability zones. Why we should choose the multiple availability zones? Like suppose if one instance is non-available, one instance is unhealthy, then it routes the traffic to another instance. Okay, to achieve the high availability. Or to achieve the high availability, we should use multiple availability zones. Like if one complete one availability zones, if we talk about the Singapore region, in Singapore region we have two availability zones. Suppose if one availability zones is not available due to some network failure, due to some power failure, or due to some natural disaster. Okay, natural mishappening. So if one complete availability zones will be down, then ELB route the whole traffic to those instances which are healthy and which are on the another availability zones. So that's why we should choose the cross zones. That's why we should choose the multi availability zones to configure at the time when we configure the ELB, and we should use multi availability zone to launch the instances. In our coming videos we can see how we can configure the instances with auto scaling. So if all of your EC2 instance in one availability zones are unhealthy, so you have to set up an EC2 instance in multi availability zones, and ELB will route traffic to your healthy EC2 instances which are running in another availability zones. So thanks for today. If you like this, please like, share and subscribe our channel. Okay, thank you.